In this section, we are going to explore what happens to you when your heart receives a very strong blow. As if it were hit with a sledgehammer, which is another of the diseases that occur when your heart suffers from some type of emotional trauma. You will experience this in case you are subjected to some disappointment in relation to your partner or with respect to someone with whom you have been romantically linked. You will feel a strong blow to the chest, which will initially generate very severe pain concentrated, which will then spread to the rest of your body. Many of my clients have told me that when they suffer a trauma of this type, the pain at first becomes almost unbearable. What causes this condition? Fundamentally, some type of surprising and very strong trauma that occurs due to something that you really did not expect to happen. And it leaves you in such a state of shock that you lose the mobility of your life. An example of this could be the case of a person who is walking down the street and finds his or her partner in a romantic situation with another person. The blow is too strong to bear. That's why people who suffer from this at first don't know what to do, because they are left in that state of shock that I am talking to you about here. The issue is for you to define if at any point in your life you experienced this hammer blow on your heart that I am talking about here. Now, what's the problem with taking such a blow to your psychic heart? The first and most obvious is that a sensation of pain is generated in your chest, which often prevents you from breathing and which, as minutes pass, begins to spread to the rest of your body. Although the pain is concentrated in your chest, you will notice that this pain also begins to manifest in your stomach, your head, and even your extremities. And that will bring about the second effect of this frame. That pain will subject you to such a state of confusion that unfortunately for you, your life will be subjected to a state of paralysis. For what reason? Because every time you try to get back on the path of your life, you are going to relieve that pain and that blow because trying to recover that state of normality in which you lived until before the trauma is going to lead you to think about that person or situation that hurt you. Therefore, you will remain in that state of paralysis that I am talking about here, because the pain will subject you to a vicious circle or psychic labyrinth from which it will be very difficult for you to escape. As I always say, these traumas enter a state of balance, in quotes, after about 10 years, in which it is not that you heal, but that you actually get used to living with that disease of your psychic heart. That is why it is so important that you can observe what is happening to you in case you do not solve this problem. First of all, that pain that you feel in your chest will spread not only to other areas of your body, but mainly to other areas of your psyche. Concentrated pain will make you develop spaces in your psyche where you will feel pain. And that is going to completely paralyze your life. Because if you do not resolve this situation, you are going to enter a state in which you are going to fear the chaos that will arise in your life, precisely of the fear that the trauma generated, that you could return to experience some type of blow again, which leads you to suffer again that pain from which you escape with your entire being. But the problem is that chaos is part of life. You will always face situations where you will not have control of anything. So, as you can infer, that state of fear to which this frame subjected you will lead you to avoid any type of adventure that arises in your future, with which you will be denying yourself the possibility of finding yourself and, above all, of achieving the true type of life you want for yourself. That is why it is so important to solve these problems before you become completely paralyzed. What is the solution? Faced with the trauma of this type? Well, in healing therapy, what is thought is to help you reduce the pain you are feeling by generating a series of dynamics that help you lower the area of influence of the blow and, above all, the psychic swelling. The goal of all this is that you can eventually recover the mobility of your psychic cord, which in turn will allow you to recover what you had lost, your confidence to move forward in life. As you can see, the blow to the heart is not something that should be taken lightly. Think about all the years you have missed because of that fear that the person in whom you had placed your trust suddenly subjected you to. And not only the years, but also the opportunities that you have denied yourself for having lost the ability to absorb the blows that life subjects you to. That, in my opinion, is the greatest effect that it caused to a frame like this. That is why the idea is for you to recognize if you have ever had your heart hit in this way, so that you can develop the best strategy to solve a problem of this type. In the next section, we are going to look at another heart disease, which is what happens to you when your heart fades. I see you there.